I will not be having an audience today because I was diagnosed this week with an upper respiratory infection, which limited my audience to only the people in my home, and that's not anyone right now at this point in time. So I was not able to do any sort of Skype or Zoom audience for my speech today. But I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about psychology in everyday life. I am currently a psychology major, and in taking those classes and in the trainings that I have received from my employer in working at a preschool, I have learned so much about how every little thing that happens to you in your life can greatly affect what you do as far as your behavior, how you react to things. And in one instance in particular, I had a 3-year-old child in my class who was just sleeping all the time in class, having outbursts, and it seemed like she had a relatively normal, happy life at her home. And after asking some questions, we found out that her mom and dad were getting divorced, and her mom had just had a new baby, so there was so much turmoil going on in her home that we were unaware of. And it was just really interesting how all of those things manifested themselves in very different behaviors than what you would expect. She was still sleeping a full 8 hours at nighttime at home, but then was still coming to sleep all day at school and just not being her normal self. And so upon talking to the child, we found out some of her feelings about the situation, and so we started talking to her parents to try to help her. And it's the same with adults. Sometimes adults don't realize that they're carrying around things that have happened to them, and they're coming out in different ways. You might just feel a little bit grumpy and not even know why, but it's definitely a result of something that has happened that has caused you to feel that way. And so you just have to really be sensitive to everyone that you come into contact with. You could have, you could have contact with someone at a grocery store who just seems really upset, unfriendly, just not really willing to help, or doesn't seem like they're enjoying to be being there. But you never know what happened to them that morning before they came to work, or the night before, or just anything that they have going on in their personal life. So it's really interesting to me. I've learned so much about how every little thing affects your behavior, and it goes into your brain and comes out a different way. You just never know how something is going to affect you until it happens. And so I try to be super sensitive to people's feelings and people's behaviors, and try to figure out what's going on with them before just judging any kind of behavior. And so I would really encourage everyone to take at least some kind of course in psychology, just to educate yourselves a little bit on it, because it affects you as well as it does everyone else.